What's good, y'all? Welcome back to a brand new video. We're kicking it back. Another throwback video. So one of these videos that we used to do a bunch here on this channel that kind of got me out there, but we kind of slowed down. It's been like 7 months since we did the last one. So today we're playing NBA Would You Press the Button. So if you've been here for a while, you know exactly how this game works. But let me give y'all the premise for you newer fellas. Welcome to the channel, by the way. We're going to be given a situation. For example, this is the best one I could give. Would you press the button to become the best shooter of all time, but you're also the worst defender of all time? So it starts off with something extremely positive and then something negative, and we got to decide, will we do that? All right, so very simple stuff. If you don't understand, you'll get it after the first couple. Shout out to the day goes to these fellas, but let's get into the video. Would you press the button to get drafted to a team that wins 3 straight rings, but you only play 1 game a season? So this is like the lowest form of bench warming. Even today, like the top teams, their bench warmers get a lot of minutes because, I mean, the Golden State Warriors are blowing people out by 20, and then their bench players come in, so they're bench warmers, but they still play a lot of games. This is asking us, look, like, yo, you played 3 games in 3 years, you sit back on your butt, and you get 3 rings. Would I press this button? Normally, I would say no, because yes, I want to win rings, but I also want to be a help to winning those rings. But just imagine me right now, I'm 20 years old, to be a part of the Golden State Warriors, go to every single game, sit on the bench, and 1 time a year I got to play. Come on now. And then you still get an NBA contract? Come on, we pressing that button, man. I just sit back, enjoy it. You know, we got connections with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. Hey, I would press this button. But me a couple months ago probably wouldn't press this button because yes, I want to win rings, but I also want to be a contributor. But right now, the lazy me is saying, take your rings, take that NBA contract, and enjoy basketball. Would you press the button to have 4 All-Stars, but they hate each other? I'm not sure, man. So I'm thinking about it this way. Not very often do we hear about NBA players hate each other. It's inevitable, though. There are probably people in the NBA right now that hate their teammates, but they're not coming out to the public for the sake of the team and for the sake of the teammates. Some very specific things I can think about, though. Kobe and Shaq. That's like the biggest one. They hated each other, but yet they won multiple rings together. But other than that, you don't really hear about players hating their teammates and being successful. You hear the stories of what, like Kobe and Smush Parker's another situation. Kobe had a lot of enemies, it seems like, but very rarely do you have players that hate each other that get along on court. Another example is Ray Allen and Rajon Rondo. They hated each other, but they were able to be successful. But other than that, usually if you hate your teammates, it's gonna show on the court, which means ultimately you don't win. So even if you have 4 All-Stars, if these 4 All-Stars are button heads 24/7, you're probably not gonna win. So because of that, we do not press the button. Would you press the button to have Phil Jackson as a coach of your favorite team, but he's also the GM? Wow, okay. Phil Jackson, without a doubt, is one of the best coaches of all time. But Phil Jackson, without a doubt, is one of the worst GMs of all time. It's facts. Joakim Noah's contract. Come on now. Giving Melo a no trade clause. Come on now. He traded Iman Shumpert and J.R. Smith for no reason. Come on now. He traded Tyson Chandler for no reason. I did just recently read an article about everything Phil Jackson did wrong, so that's why they're all at the top of my head. But I don't think I pressed this button because as his time as a GM, he did some terrible things. And even though, again, he is one of the best coaches of all time, GMing is one of the most important things in sports. If you have a horrible GM, you will not win games. That's one of the reasons why Doc Rivers decided, you know what? I'm not going to be the GM. I'm just going to be a coach. You know, I'm not going to make the big decisions. I'm going to focus my entire time on coaching. Same thing with I guess Pop was like this once upon a time. There are not many coach/GMs left in the league because it just does not work out. It doesn't work out, especially if your GM is something like Phil Jackson. It won't. LeBron just took a shot at Phil Jackson a couple days ago, talking about Dennis Smith Jr. should be a Knick instead of Frank Ntilikina. But Phil Jackson messed up. I like Frank Ntilikina, don't get me wrong, but Dennis Smith Jr. will probably have the better career. You know, it's just the way it goes. And LeBron said he wasn't taking a shot at Frankie. He was taking a shot at Phil Jackson. And Phil Jackson has said some bad things about LeBron and his friends and stuff. So, all right, enough of that. No, we're not pressing this button. Would you press the button to be the best defender, but only 5 feet tall? Yo, okay, I'm 5'7", 5'8", 5'9" on my driver's license. We're not gonna talk about it. And I think as a player this size, if I was in the NBA, Isaiah Thomas, like, defending is one of the hardest things. Isaiah Thomas is one of the worst defending guards in the league, but he makes up for it on the offensive end, averaging 30, so it's fine. But being small is ultimately going to hurt you defensively. You could have the best, you could be the best defender of all time, but if you're 5 feet, players like KD, even smaller players like Russell Westbrook, they're going to shoot right over you. So I'm not pressing this button, man. I'm not pressing this button. Size really does matter in the NBA. So we not pressing this button. Would you press the button to have the best stats of all time but never win a ring? So y'all know a lot of my life revolves around basketball. It's where I relieve my stress. My entire YouTube channel is about basketball, podcast about basketball. It's just what I do. It keeps me going, basically. So even in school, when I get a chance to write about basketball, I do. So a couple years ago, I wrote a paper that was titled something like, "What makes the GOATs the GOATs?" Something like that. It wasn't grammatically incorrect like what just came out of my mouth. But basically what I wrote the paper about, what makes the greatest players of all time the greatest players of all time. And I'll save y'all the 5.5 pages, and I'll let you know right now. Championships. Yeah, championships. And let me give you the prime example that I had in my paper. Look at Karl Malone. Karl Malone is without a doubt one of the best players of all time. One of the best power forwards of all time. Let's look at his resume. 2-time MVP, 14-time All-Star, 2-time All-Star Game MVP, 11-time All-NBA First Team. That's Karl Malone. Again, he is one of the best players of all time. But ultimately, when you ask people who's the best power forward of all time, they say Tim Duncan. And this is crazy because we're about to take a look at Tim Duncan's resume. Ignore the first 2 bullet points. Ignore the fact that he's a champion. Ignore the fact that he's a Finals MVP. 2-time MVP, like Karl Malone. All-Star Game MVP 1 time, Karl Malone had 2 times. 10-time All-NBA First Team, Karl Malone had 11. You know what makes Tim Duncan better than Karl Malone? The 5 championships. And even further than that, if we take a look at their stats, throughout his career, Karl Malone averaged 25 points per game. Tim Duncan averaged 19. So ultimately, what makes the best players the best players is the ability to win championships. Think about it. A couple years ago, before he won his championships in Miami, people were saying that LeBron has no chance to be one of the greatest of all time because he did not win a championship. And yeah, I think championships are important, but it's not the only factor. I'm just saying that to have the best stats of all time mean nothing if you can't win. So because of that, long story short, I'm not pressing the button. But that's just me telling y'all that, hey, I write papers. I can analyze the game. And that's part of my analysis. One of them, at least. Would you press the button to have amazing athleticism but can't shoot? I'm not pressing this button, man, because offense is so important. Your athletic ability ultimately does not mean much if you can't shoot. They can play off of you. Think about some of the best athletes of all time. Even they, later in their career or eventually, they figure out, well, I got to develop a jump shot. For example, Blake Griffin. He came to the league, he was dunking on everything. Athleticism was out of this world, but eventually he became this player that, well, now I can make the mid-range. Now I can even make threes. Shout out to Blake Griffin. Like, you got to evolve your game. So yeah, I would come into the league having amazing athleticism, but eventually that athleticism is going to go away. Vince Carter's not he's still dunking. Vince Carter's still dunking, but he's not dunking on people like he was 10 years ago. He developed a game that's outside of his athleticism. Again, he's not playing much these days, but like last year, the year before that, he developed a game outside of just dunking on people. And so because of that, I'm not pressing this button. Would you press the button? You'd miss every free throw, but make every half-court shot. No. And it really comes down to the point that, well, you're attempting more free throws than half-court shots usually. And I know if I'm gonna make every one, I could just come inbound me the ball and I just shoot it up. But that's no fun. There's no fun in shooting half-court shots 100%. So no, I'm not pressing this button. Would you press the button to average a quadruple-double, but you don't win an MVP? True. Yeah, I would. I would do it. Why not? I'd go down in history as the only player to ever average a quadruple-double. It's very rare that people get quadruple-doubles, but to average that, come on now. And then I'd also go down in history as like the biggest MVP snub of all time. So yeah, I'll do that 100%. Would you press the button to win MVP but have an early severe injury? Nah, it's not that important, man. MVP's cool. MVP's cool. Only, 60 people have won MVP? And you get one MVP a year, you know? But still, having a long, healthy career is very important. Having a long, healthy life is very important, first of all. So because of that, I'm not pressing this button, man. Don't show me this picture, y'all. People tweet me this picture of D-Rose going down and like just one tear drop out of my eye every time I see it. I'm gonna hold it back for the camera for the video, but it's gonna happen once I stop recording. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave it a like. For comment of the day, let me know your best would you press the button scenario. But if y'all notice from the past couple videos that I've been doing multiple comments of the day, I don't always pick comments that deal with the question of the day. Sometimes I just pick comments that I like some dude said, what's up? You got comment of the day for it. I mean, just comment down below and you equally have a chance to the guy next to you. Thank y'all. Be back tomorrow. Hopefully, I was supposed to take today off, but I really want to record this video, and that's good. That's good. I always have a lot more fun when I, like, it's hard to even explain. It's hard to even explain. Anyway, be back tomorrow. Hopefully, if not tomorrow, then Wednesday. And if not Wednesday, then hit me up on Twitter because something has really gone wrong if I go 2 days without upload. Peace.